What's going on, Bills Mafia? Fans of the 4-1 Buffalo Bills? That certainly has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? It does. Patrick Moran here, host of the Moran-Alytics podcast with a Moran-Alytics podcast extra. This is audio content exclusive to our YouTube channel. You're not going to hear this anywhere else except for our YouTube channel. Before I get started, go hit that little red subscribe button down just below and that little bell next to it as well so you can get notifications when new audio content is released. I'm going to spend a couple minutes here today talking about the Buffalo Bills game, and not going to deep dive into the game too much, at least not right now. Certainly, I'll be doing that on the podcast on Tuesday. I'm going to have Aaron Quinn from Cover One. He's going to join me, and we'll get into the meat and potatoes of a lot of this game. But for now, by the way, these audio content clips that I'm making for the YouTube channel, they're not going to be edited much, if at all. They're not going to be overly produced and edited like a lot of what you hear on the podcast. The audio is going to be kind of raw, so you hear what you hear, and that's the way it's going to be. Now, as for the Buffalo Bills game, 4-1, I'll take it. 14-7 win on the road at Tennessee. That's a big win. You know, I'll tell you what, I have been saying this all week long on Twitter or Facebook, anywhere else, that I felt like this game was more important than the Patriots game. And I'm not just saying that because they lost to New England. I'd be saying it anyway. I don't think the Bills have any chance of winning the AFC East, even though they're 4-1 right now. But they have an excellent chance of making the playoffs. And if you want to make the playoffs, you got to beat the teams that are going to contend for a wild card with you. And Tennessee, certainly one of those games. I feel like it's the games like the Tennessee game today, Baltimore down the road, maybe Pittsburgh as well. Those are the kind of games that are either going to get you in the playoffs or they're going to send you home after 16 regular season games. And the Bills answered the bell today for sure. Was not pretty. 14-7, certainly not pretty, but you know what? Road games doesn't have to be pretty. Nothing matters except that W, especially when you're on the road. You don't get anything extra in the standings for style points, that's for sure. And it doesn't matter. They won. It's a good game. It's a big win, a very big win. I'm telling you, I think this is a very big win. And I mentioned that bye. It really is coming at a perfect time now. Devin Singletary's been gone for 3 weeks. Hopefully he'll be back after the bye. Reports indicated that he was close to playing on Sunday. Ditto for Teron Johnson. He's a good piece on the defense and the secondary. Hopefully he'll be back after the bye. And they had some new injuries today at Tennessee that they're going to have to deal with. We don't know the extent of them now, but Mitch Morse hurt his ankle in the first half, starting center. He didn't return. Cody Ford, I think he had a head injury in the second half at some point. He was out. Offensive line's getting really tested now with depth, isn't it? Trent Murphy, who I thought, by the way, was absolutely phenomenal in the first half. He had a head injury. Matt Milano, that's the big one. Hurt his hamstring. He missed a lot of the second half. So the bye is definitely coming at the right time when it comes to injuries. And as far as this game, I mean, first of all, Carlos Santos, I would hate to be him and living in Tennessee right now. The dude misses 4 field goals. One was from 32 yards, another one from 36. But I know Tennessee Titan fans are going to put everything on him, and he deserves a lot of it. Don't get me wrong. But if I'm a Tennessee Titans fan right now, and by the way, I've been around for a long time. I'm old. I've accumulated a lot of friends through the years, being a bartender, being in sports media here and there, just being an all-around great dude with a lot of friends. I don't think I've ever in my life met a legitimate Tennessee Titans fan. Ever. But let's just say there is one. If I'm a Tennessee Titan fan right now, I got big beef with Mike Vrabel. How do you try... There's 6:35 left in the game. You're down 7. Your kicker has already missed not 1, not 2, but 3 field goals, 2 of them from 36 yards or less. And you're trying a 53-yard field goal, down 7 with 6.5 minutes left on 4th and 4 from the Buffalo 35. That is absolutely insane. That is just horrible coaching by Mike Vrabel. You gotta go for it. I don't care how good the Bills defense is. I don't care if they're the 85 Bears. You're down 7, 6.5 left. You're inside the Bills' 36-yard line on 4th and 4, and you're going to try to trot out a kicker who can't kick. I mean, he wasn't even close on these field goals, by the way, and you're going to expect him to make a 53-yard field goal, which, by the way, even if he does make it, you still need a touchdown because a field goal is not going to tie the game at the end either. So you still need a touchdown. That was just cowardly coaching by Mike Vrabel. But hey, helped the Bills. Again, very ugly game, but road games don't have to be pretty. Only the win matters. As far as Josh Allen, I stand by my take last week that I had with him on my podcast. I still think he's struggling bad, although he certainly played better against Tennessee than he has the last couple of weeks, the second half, I should say, against Cincinnati and certainly against the Patriots. I still think he's struggling. But like I said on the podcast, I also fully believe in him. I feel like when it's crunch time and the Bills have to make a play, somehow, some way, he's going to get it done. It's just how I feel. It's what I have in my gut about Josh Allen right now, and he showed it again against Tennessee. That interception he threw, that was a horrific interception, right? There's no way around it. It was a bad interception, and it shouldn't have happened, but he didn't fold. I mean, he didn't play great after that, but he didn't fold either. He could have became a turnover machine. He could have made lousy decisions, and he didn't. So I give Josh Allen, in that regards, a lot of credit. And I thought he played really good in the first half. He was 17 of 21 for 146 and a touchdown in the first half. Again, he had the ugly pick in the third, but he bounced back. He came back, a nice drive. I mean, he didn't throw the ball a lot. McKenzie set it up with that long, I think it was a 46-yard run, but he threw a perfect pass to Duke Wiliams, a nice little slant. They retook the lead and didn't give it back. I give Allen credit for that. Final stats, not bad, pretty good. 22 of 32 for 219, 2 touchdowns, an interception, 27 yards rushing, including those last 6 yards that put the game away. It was a third down conversion. The Bills were able to run the clock out after that. Look, he's a maddening quarterback, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I really don't. He's going to make lousy decisions. It's in his DNA. We've talked about this on the podcast, and I'm sure I'm not unearthing any big mystery here, but he's going to make boneheaded decisions. It's just the way he plays football. By the way, one of them, in fact, a play that I thought was even worse than the interception, that third down in maybe 2 inches, he ran up to the line, quick snap, and a sneak. He didn't need to do that. He didn't look. The receivers weren't set, and they ended up getting a false start penalty. The very next play was the interception that turned the whole game around at the time. You got to be patient. You got to look. I know you want to get to the line quick, but you know what? You don't have to get to the line quick. It's third and an inch, man. Your big ass is going to get 3 inches on 31 going over the top, right up the middle with the quarterback sneak. So that was a big mistake by him. But again, that's just who he is. He also makes really good plays physically. He could beat you with his arm. He could beat you with his legs. We say it all the time. He did enough to win. He completed 71, I think, % of his passes, which is actually the best game statistically when it comes to accuracy of his career. So if you're a Josh Allen fan, or even if you're not, there's a lot to build on with this game when it comes to Josh Allen. Brian DeBoer, I think as a coordinator, he gets a little too cutesy sometimes, especially that one series where right after the missed field goal that I told you about, they didn't try to run the ball once. They threw it 3 times, 3 incomplete passes, didn't run any time off the clock, didn't move the ball or anything. But overall, I think he's doing an outstanding job calling games. I really do. I loved the quick slant to Duke Wiliams. I love that end around to Isaiah McKenzie. Again, I talked about that. It went for 46 yards. That might have been the biggest play of the game. Tennessee had tied it up at 7-7. McKenzie takes that end around. Technically, it was a pass from Josh Allen. He goes 46 yards with it. That was a great call. I think the ball's just been really solid. And speaking of solid, I mean the defense. What can you say about them at this point? 5 weeks into the season, they have yet to give up more than 17 points. That's amazing to me. They fell apart for one drive, but outside of that, played another great game. This is a championship defense as far as I'm concerned at this point. And I don't think anyone out there could tell me otherwise. I don't know how you could disagree with that. They're proving it. Tennessee's not a bad team. New England's a great team. And they're shutting these guys down like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. And it's always new guys who step up, by the way. Last week, Micah Hyde was the greatest safety in the NFL. Today, Jordan Phillips looked like Aaron Darnold. 3 sacks in the first half. He's becoming a monster. I feel like somebody like Jordan Phillips is he's playing himself from someone who's just in a death row right now to a guy who's probably going to get himself a really nice contract in the offseason. And if he continues to play like this, he deserves it. And you got Tremaine Edmonds. I mean, this kid is becoming one of the best young linebackers in the entire NFL. And I don't care how many tackles he makes. I look at the stats and whatever. He's got 6, 7 tackles, 8 tackles. That might not be that impressive. We saw the days where Preston Brown would have 1 million tackles. But you know what? None of those tackles ever seem to matter. Tremaine Edmonds makes plays that matter. He's filling gaps good. That huge pass deflection he had in the fourth quarter, that was a key third down. I just love this kid. I really do. Lorenzo Alexander, he's ageless. He had that beautiful spin move. He had a sack. Trent Murphy, I mentioned this earlier. I thought he was playing really good before he got hurt. Daryl Johnson got his first NFL sack. 5 sacks in total, by the way, for the defense. They forced 4 3-and-outs in the first half, 6 3-and-outs total. They only allowed 4 or 14 on third down conversions. I mean, what more is there to say at this point? We're 5 weeks into the season, like I said, and you haven't allowed more than 17 points in a game. That's astounding to me. Right there, Buffalo, Chicago, New England, it's them 3 and then everyone else when it comes to defense in the NFL right now. A few other quick things, too. John Brown, big in the first half, 5 catches for 75 yards, got shut out in the second half, but whatever. He did the damage in the first half. He's really developed good chemistry with Josh Allen. I like him a lot. I think he's been a really good signing. Duke Wiliams, I mean, 4 catches for 29 yards, big touchdown, the game-winning touchdown. Also had a key conversion, by the way, on 3rd and 4 that set up the touchdown to Lee Smith earlier in the game, too. It's like, bye-bye Zay Jones at this point. I would not be shocked to see Zay Jones get traded or even cut if they can't find a partner coming up here in the bye week. It makes you wonder. You watch him today. I'm talking about Duke Wiliams here, and it's like I'm almost speechless on how he sat on the practice squad for a month. Even more so, it's easy to criticize the Bills for that, but you could criticize 31 other teams around the NFL too, because they could have picked him up at any time. They could have forced Buffalo's hand to either put him on the active roster or let him go to that squad. So there's 31 other teams besides Buffalo that's been sleeping on this kid for a month. I think his days of being on the practice squad are over. Now, if there's any question about that. He's an asset to this team right now. A big one. I can't wait to see what he does going forward. Not just in the passing game, by the way. He's a very good blocker, too. It's almost like having another tight end out there. So I'm really excited about this kid. I'm excited about his future. And Frank Gore might not have much of a future left, but he's still good, man. 60 yards on 14 carries. Those aren't great stats, but, man, those tough yards at the end of the game, that's why Brandon Beane signed him on day 1 of free agency. When it comes to someone like Frank Gore, I trust this guy with everything I have to close out a game. If Buffalo's got the lead and the objective is to try to run out the clock, pick up a first down so you can run out the clock, or to even just not fumble to let the other team back in the game, I can't think of a running back that's ever been in a Buffalo uniform that I would trust more than Frank Gore. Again, only 60 yards, 37 of those came on that last drive. The Bills ran out the last 4 minutes and 12 seconds here. I'm looking at the stats. Just a great job by Frank Gore. Props, by the way, TJ Yeldon, too. He had a big 11-yard run on first down, too. He got a first down, I should say, on that 11-yard run. That was a very big part of the game, too, on that last drive. I mean, it wasn't perfect. A few criticisms, penalties, very big problem. They had 11 for 78 yards, although a few of them were total bullshit calls, especially that one on Matt Milano, that holding call that came like 4 or 5 seconds. You saw the referee wait about good 4 seconds. It's on film before he threw the flag, and the play's all the way on the other side of the field. That was ridiculous. Also, a really poor holding call earlier on Cody Ford on that play. He got hurt. Speaking of Ford, too, he may or may not become a good right tackle in the NFL, but it ain't now. It ain't now, and it's not close either. I feel like this kid either needs to play guard right now or he needs to play around on the sidelines, one or the other. I hope Ty Nsekhe is back after the bye week. I didn't mention him at the top, but he's an important part of this team right now. I think he's far better than Cody Ford at right tackle, at least right now. Maybe he won't be in the future, but right now he clearly is. I think that platoon experiment that they have going with them two, kind of rotating series, it really needs to end. I think we're seeing more and more each week why Cody Ford's probably going to be better off as a guard in the NFL. I mean, just the offensive line as a whole. They struggled against Tennessee, especially in the running game, at least until that final drive. They looked good there, but before that, the Bills could not run the ball to save their lives. Not a great job blocking by the line today. I felt like Josh Allen was under duress a lot too. Mitch Morse hurt his ankle, of course. That didn't help. Last point about this game, and then I'm going to finish up here. How about that crowd? You got to be kidding me. That felt, at worst, it was like a neutral field, if not a home game for the Bills. BillsMafia is just absolutely amazing. I've seen videos on Twitter and Facebook all weekend long, people partying it up. Sal Capaccio posted some videos. What an awesome atmosphere. That was a legitimate takeover. BillsMafia came down to Nashville, and they pretty much they took over that stadium. It's crazy. I mean, it was louder almost when Marcus Mariota was on offense than it was when Josh Allen was on offense. That's how good the Bills crowd was. Awesome game. 4-1. I'm going to leave this recap right here. Bottom line, and this is the bottom line, okay? the Bills are sitting really, really pretty right now. 4-1, going into a bye, a much-needed bye. Hopefully they can get healthier. They come back. They got a really tasty matchup with Miami in 2 weeks, the tanking Miami Dolphins. Then they got Philly at home. They got Washington at home. Then they go on the road at Cleveland, at Washington, back home against Denver. It's starting to become very feasible that Buffalo can end up no worse than maybe, say, 8-3 going into the last 5 games. It's going to be an exciting stretch of games here coming up for Buffalo. So make sure you listen and subscribe to the Moran-Alytics podcast. New full-length episodes drop every Tuesday and Friday. Again, on Tuesday's show, I'll be talking about this game in much more detail with Aaron Quinn from Cover One. On Friday's show, I'm going to have interviews with several fans who made the trip down from Buffalo to Nashville for the game. Here's some of their stories. I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun. The podcast is available on all major podcasting platforms. Check out the links below here in the description to subscribe to one of them. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.